I rise in favor of my amendment number 43, which would prohibit HUD remote work agreements when the employee is working within 50 miles of a HUD office. Madam Chair, HUD's handbook defines remote work as an arrangement where the employee is not required to report to an agency work site on a regular or recurring basis. It then defines two forms of remote work, one being near HUD office, which allows employees located within 50 miles of a HUD office to work remotely. As an example, it cites an employee who would normally be based in HUD's Robert C. Weaver headquarters in Washington, D.C., who is allowed to work from home in Arlington, Virginia. Now, Madam Chair, they're not even trying to hide it anymore. The agencies are baking in their policies unseen benefits and perks for bureaucrats who, quite frankly, aren't entitled to them and for which the taxpaying public is paying. Yet we are not receiving an adequate return on our investment. Thousands of congressional staffers commute to the Capitol building every morning from surrounding neighborhoods, whether they live in Arlington, Alexandria, or cities in Maryland. Why can't the agency employees do the same? Pre-COVID, the oversight of federal agencies was slim, as was the accountability that the American people are entitled to. Today, it's even harder to monitor the efficacy, the efficiency, and legal compliance of many agency employees because we don't even know where they are. Are they home doing laundry when they should be processing applications? Are they picking their children up from school during work hours? Are they taking a 2-hour lunch because there is no oversight? We don't know. I believe that if you are being paid by the American people, you should work for the American people. My amendment is designed to bring some semblance of accountability back to HUD. I encourage my colleagues to support my amendment, and with that, I reserve.
The gentlewoman reserves. For what purpose does the gentleman from Illinois seek recognition?
Madam Chair, I claim time in opposition.
Gentleman is recognized.
The remote work agreements addressed in this amendment, where they exist, have been thoughtfully negotiated by OMB, labor unions, and management, and have been in place under Republican and Democratic administrations. To impede on that process with a provision would be yet another Republican overreach that fails to take into consideration any special accommodation that employees may need related to remote work. This prohibition, which fails to address circumstances under which remote work arrangements may be beneficial to the taxpayer or a necessary accommodation for an employee, is not a serious approach to policymaking. I urge my colleagues to vote no, and I yield back.
Gentlewoman is recognized.
HUD's remote work policy shows that its employees are not showing up to work at the Robert C. Weaver building, but are instead spending their days in the homes, coffee shops, and other locations across the greater D.C. area. My amendment addresses that situation and requires the employees to show up at their job. Bureaucracy already moves way too slowly, even when the employees are working in the same building, down the hall from one another, and with access to all of the work accoutrements that are necessary for them to do their jobs. HUD's policy means that today we are not even sure if they are working in the same state, and that is unacceptable. The basic principles of oversight and accountability require that employees go to work. The basic principles of avoiding further waste, fraud, and abuse means not leaving federal agency buildings barren. COVID is over. It is time to return to work. The Republican majority has made clear that we believe government employees should be working at their places of employment. My amendment furthers that policy. And Madam Chair, I urge my colleagues to support this amendment, and with that I yield back.
And yields. The question is on the amendment offered by gentlewoman from Wyoming. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. In opinion of the chair, ayes have it. The amendment is agreed to.